I don't want to say too many things that I know what is happening right now, based out of respect for the family. For me, I understand more better because of who I am and how I carry in the spirit world, things of that sort. I will tell you this: my niece is still in the area of between the job and the park. That's what I will tell you. I would tell you that there's 3 people involved. I would tell you that one person has dreadlocks. I would tell you that the job does know what something is going on with it. I will tell you that my niece got in a car to sit with the parties, and it wound up being a drive-off situation into an argument. It is not sexually that's involved. It is a lot of, assault and things of that sort, and that led to. It's a transition situation.
The Philadelphia Police Department is just about to hold a news conference sharing some new information in the Kada Scott case. Officers just got to the podium. Let's listen in.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You want me to turn it a little bit to... No. All right. I didn't know if you want to shift this. All right. That's all right. Good?
Okay. Oh, I'm very in here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's you want to stand on this, like what? On the pillar?
I'll just go.
All right.
You want us over here in front of the pillar?
Yeah, just so I think they can capture that.
It looks like we're still setting up just a little bit, getting the photographers in the room, the microphone situated. Again, this is a news conference about Kada Scott, the 23-year-old from Philadelphia. She's been missing for about 2 weeks now. Disappeared on October 4th. Scott's family last saw her the night that she left for an overnight shift at her job at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill. That's a nursing home on East Abington Avenue. Just yesterday, law enforcement sources confirmed that police identified a man who they wanted to talk to in connection to the case. Let's listen in.
On the disappearance of Kada Scott, which occurred on October 4th, 11 days ago. Going to provide you an update in terms of an individual that is currently in custody for his involvement in the disappearance of Miss Scott. However, still a lot of work needs to be done. And so just want to make that very clear as to why we are here and the information that you will receive. Essentially letting you know how we have gotten here. But more so the public's help that we need right now. The public has been very, very helpful thus far in providing a lot of information, which the investigators have been able to track down a lot of the leads, which has helped us get to this point here. But as I said, a lot of work still to be done. The number one priority is locating Miss Scott. I just want to make that very clear. And so while we are at this stage of this now, that's our priority. And so we will ask for your help in locating this vehicle, which you'll get a little more information. It's a 1999 metallic gold Toyota Camry with a Pennsylvania tag of MSX0797. But we need to know where this car is. We need to find this car.
A young woman disappears from her workplace in the middle of the night. Hours later, her car is still in the parking lot, but Kada Scott is nowhere to be found. The 23-year-old had only been on the job for 2 weeks. But someone had been watching her long before that. Before we get too deep, hit the like button, share your take in the comment, and tap subscribe with the bell so you never miss the next episode of Deranged Women. 23-year-old Kada Scott had graduated from Penn State and was juggling multiple ventures at once. Healthcare worker, business owner, fashion designer, and pageant competitor. She understood what it took to create a brand, to connect with people, and to use visibility as a tool for growth. Her social media showed someone who was intentional about her image and her future. In late September, she took on overnight shifts at an assisted living facility in Chestnut Hill. The job was new, so she was still learning the routine, getting familiar with the residents and her co-workers. Everything seemed like a normal adjustment period. But during those first 2 weeks, Kada started telling people something was wrong. She mentioned to family members that someone was bothering her and crossing certain boundaries. Though she didn't go into detail about who it was, those close to her could tell she was uncomfortable. On the evening of October 4th, 2025, Kada arrived at work just before 10 p.m. Her shift was supposed to run until 6 a.m. the next morning. But around 10 p.m. coworkers noticed something. They saw Kada outside the building on her phone, then reportedly saw her get into a dark-colored vehicle, and the car drove off immediately. That was the last time anyone at that facility saw Kada Scott. By 6 a.m., when Kada's shift was supposed to end and she didn't come home, her family knew something was wrong, so they went to the facility. Kada's car was still there in the parking lot, but her keys, phone, and purse were missing. The assisted living facility had no security cameras and no external monitoring, so there was no way of knowing who might have been waiting in that parking lot or what happened outside those doors. The search began immediately. Family, friends, neighbors, volunteers. Everyone who could help started looking. Posting flyers, checking social media, and calling everyone who might have information.
I could not sit down. I could not just watch on TV and see the anguish.
Philadelphia police treated this as a missing person case and deployed everything they had. Helicopters circled overhead, different units combed through parks and abandoned areas, and hundreds of volunteers joined the effort. Every available resource was being used. The search covered wooded areas, abandoned buildings, recreation centers, neighborhoods where Kada was known to frequent. They found some clothing items during these searches, but nothing that could be connected to the case. Days passed and Kada Scott remained missing. After a while, Philadelphia police made an announcement that they had a suspect in custody. That person was Keon King, the same person Kada had talked about, the one who had been bothering her and crossing certain boundaries. Keon was 21 years old and already had a reputation in certain Philadelphia neighborhoods. He moved through different circles, connected with various people, and he had a way of getting close to young women. He had been following Kada online, watching her posts, studying her social media, and learning about her life. Through mutual connections, their paths had crossed. But the thing is, Keon wasn't supposed to be free. Earlier in January, Keon King was arrested. A young woman named Cece had been involved with him in what was described as a relationship, though the situation seemed dangerous from the start, and she had evidence of his violent behavior.
Carter, it's all these kids in here. Carter copied them, bitch. He coming around the window. Go that way, Cameron. Yeah, bitch, go away, bye. Go away, bye. Yep, bye. Bye. Keon out here.
But when it came time for court, Cece didn't show up. So the case got dismissed, the charges were dropped, and Keon walked free. So by October, Keon King was out on the streets, following Kada online and sending her messages that made her uncomfortable. On October 8th, Keon King turned himself in, and he was facing charges in connection with Kada's disappearance. But even with a suspect in custody, the most important question remained unanswered. Where was Kada Scott? Kada's aunt, who described herself as a seer, had made specific predictions about the case early on. She described an abandoned building, the physical appearance of the person involved, certain details about what might have happened. And some of her statements seemed to align with what investigators were finding.
I don't want to say too many things that I know what is happening right now, based out of respect for the family. For me, I understand more better because of who I am and how I carry in the spirit world, things of that sort. I will tell you this, my niece is still in the area of between the job and the park. That's what I will tell you. I would tell you that there's 3 people involved. I would tell you that one person has dreadlocks. I would tell you that the job does know what something is going on with it. I will tell you that my niece got in a car to sit with the parties, and it wound up being a drive-off situation into an argument. It is not sexually that's involved. It is a lot of, assault and things of that sort, and that led to it's a transition situation. So
on October 15th, police conducted extensive searches at the former Ada Lewis Middle School in East Germantown. At this location, investigators found Kada's debit card, a phone case, and items that proved she had been at this location. But Kada herself still hadn't been found. Her family held on to hope and the community continued searching.
We making leeway, but it's also dead ends, so we just looking for something solid, just trying to keep our energy positive. Like, my brother said, just hoping to bring my niece home safe.
Keon had surrendered, but he still wasn't providing information about where Kada might be. Then 2 weeks after Kada's disappearance, an anonymous tip came in through the police tip line. The caller gave investigators the exact location to search, with precise coordinates that led directly to a specific spot in the heavily wooded area behind that abandoned school. Around 10 a.m. that morning, investigators followed up on the tip. They went back to that wooded area behind the abandoned school, and they made the discovery. The discovery was devastating, but it also raised immediate questions. How did the anonymous caller know the exact location? Who had that specific information? And why was this area missed during previous searches? On October 19th, medical testing with samples collected from her parents confirmed it was Kada Scott. Police stated that the discovery appeared to have been at the location for only a few days, yet Kada had been missing for 14 days. This timeline raised questions about what exactly happened during those 2 weeks and whether she had been moved to this location. On October 21st, District Attorney Larry Krasner announced additional charges against Keon King, who was already being held on a $2.5 million bail. Keon was now facing a series of very serious charges. The court documents filed revealed that Kada and Keon had been communicating between September 28th and October 4th. And reportedly, this wasn't the first conversation. On October 4th, the day Kada disappeared, Keon called her phone 12 times. And according to reports, he was using a new number, which is why he had to text her first to let her know it was him. Investigation also revealed a concerning text that was reportedly sent by Kada to Keon at 10:07 p.m. on October 4th.
Giving a few more details about the investigation and prosecution of defendant Keon King. Most of the details of the case you already know. You're aware of them. But I want to make sure that we are keeping the public updated, and I want to make sure that people understand that the FBI, the Philadelphia Police Department, the DA's office, other law enforcement partners are working 24/7 on this case, are doing everything we can with the remarkable, unusual, extraordinary support and help coming from the public to address the situation we all face.
Investigators didn't fully understand what it meant. Was it a joke between them? Was it code for something? Had something happened before? There are no prior police reports of any incidents between Kada and Keon, so the context remains unclear.
I think part of what is really, perhaps what has animated so much community help, such an unprecedented effort that we are seeing by the community to get us information, to get the police information, anonymous tips about cars, tips about evidence locations, things of that sort. We even have some information that additional victims of this defendant from incidents that never resulted in an arrest are starting to come forward.
At 10:15 p.m., cell phone data placed Kada and Keon together near her workplace. And at 10:24 p.m., 9 minutes after they met up, her phone was off. Based on surveillance footage and digital evidence, investigators believed Kada lost her life within 20 to 30 minutes of leaving that facility. The investigation also revealed that on October 3rd, the day before Kada disappeared, a black 2008 Hyundai Accent was reported stolen from East Mount Airy. It had been left running by a food delivery worker, and someone took it just before midnight. Court documents indicate that was the car Kada got into on October 4th. Surveillance cameras at the Awbury Recreation Center, located next to Ada Lewis Middle School, showed this stolen vehicle arriving around 10:28 p.m. on October 4th. For minutes after Kada's phone went dark, and that car stayed there. for over a day and a half at the parking lot. Cell phone data tracked Keon's movements throughout the night. His phone was detected moving back and forth between that parking lot and an address on Belmar Terrace in southwest Philadelphia. On October 5th, surveillance cameras also captured a gold Toyota Camry pulled into the parking lot where the stolen Hyundai was at 11:39 p.m. Two people got out of the Toyota and waited for 4 hours. Then at 3:56 a.m. on October 6th, the cameras caught them approaching the black Hyundai and lifting something heavy out of it. So who were those two people who got out of the car? What were they moving? And who was the third person driving? On October 7th, around 3 a.m., Philadelphia police responded to reports of a vehicle fire in an alleyway. The burned car was the same stolen Hyundai Accent and it had been intentionally destroyed. The vehicle was later compacted at a junkyard, making analysis impossible. Cell phone data placed Keon King at all of these locations. His phone was detected at the recreation center when the Hyundai was there, and was also at the location where the vehicle was burned. But investigators also believed Keon wasn't acting alone. The Toyota Camry captured on surveillance had been registered to Keon's mother. And that same Toyota had been listed for sale on Facebook Marketplace approximately 3 weeks before Kada's disappearance. The digital evidence built a timeline that showed planning and deliberate cover-up. The investigation also revealed a network of people connected to what happened, and a mutual friend, Gabby, was one of them. She knew Keon and lived in the same neighborhood as Kada. After Kada's disappearance, Gabby posted videos online trying to explain her connection to the case. But the thing is, Gabby claimed Keon called her. However, looking at the screenshot she posted of that phone call, it showed something different. The call log said outgoing, not incoming. That means Gabby called Keon, not the other way around. So why lie about who initiated the call?
Hi, my name is Gabby, and I'm going to be discussing some of the misinformations that are going around in the internet regarding me and the Kada Scott situation. So if you are unaware, Kada Scott is a girl that went missing in Philadelphia on October 4th. So I did know Keon. He was my friend. I met him about 4 or 5 years ago, and he was also the local pharmacist. Now, me and my best friend, we were also mutual friends with Keon. He was our pharmacist. So one day Keon calls me, and keep in mind, I am in school, I am in Maryland, and he will usually just call me, just to check up and talk. So he calls me and he asks me if I know Kada. And I'm like, yeah, I know Kada. And he's like, oh yeah, I noticed that she lives really close to you. I'm like, yeah, she lived right in the back of me. And I'm not thinking nothing of it because he usually calls me and, we just be chatting. He'll call me about the people that be around because he is the pharmacist. I live in the neighborhood and he be in my neighborhood. So we hang up the phone and that was that. We were only on the phone for 29 seconds.
On October 9th, after Kada was reported missing, Gabby called Keon again. She said this call lasted 2 minutes and that she told him Kada was missing. But why call him at all? If they were just casual friends and he had simply asked about Kada, why would she think to call him specifically?
So a couple of days after that, my best friend calls me and, we're just talking about life. And I mentioned to her how Keon brought up Kada to me. I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm like, oh yeah, he was probably trying to flirt with her. He's probably trying to get at her. Mind you, me and my best friend, we know Kada because we grew up with her little sister. Now, we didn't know Kada personally because, again, we grew up with her little sister. We were around 12, 11 years old. Kada, she was much older than us, so we didn't really talk to her. So my best friend was like, oh yeah, he probably thought she was cute, and that was that. So right here is the day that I called my best friend and told her that, Keon was trying to get at Kada. This is before she went missing. So a couple days, maybe a week after that, it is reported on October 4th that Kada is missing. So keep in mind, I am in Maryland, so I'm not really into all the Philadelphia news that be going on. So I'm not knowing that Kada is missing until my best friend sends me a text and says that Kada is missing. So this is the day that my best friend tells me that Kada is missing on October 9th. So I'm in my friend's dorm and I call Keon and it's a lot of music and a lot going on in the background. So I go somewhere that's quiet and I tell him, Keon, Kada is missing, that girl, she's missing. So he was like, what? And then after that, the phone just hung up. So here you can see that I called Keon and we were on the phone for 2 minutes. So you have to keep in mind, this was my friend, okay? I did not think that he could be capable of anything like this. In my head, I'm just thinking, there's no way in the world he could have did something like this. There's no way in the world. So then a couple of days after that, my mom sends me a screenshot of Keon turning himself in for the kidnapping of Kada. So this is my mom sending me the article, and she was distraught to say the least. And I know she said that he was a random person, but she says this about all of my friends. So me and my best friend, we get on the phone and we're talking about the situation. We're just saying how this is just crazy. This is the call of me and her talking about it. Now, this is all happening around the time that I'm taking my midterms. So I'm really just trying to keep my head on the books. And I wasn't really trying to let this stress me out. So I
Digging into Gabby's background, something concerning was found. She had been arrested in March for serious charges, including conspiracy and endangering another person, and was currently out on bond with a pending case. Then there was Dee, Gabby's friend, who allegedly made videos documenting Kada's movements. Gabby and Dee were co-defendants on the same case from earlier that year for the same charges. On October 20th, hundreds of people gathered at the former Ada Lewis Middle School for a vigil honoring Kada. Flowers, balloons, and messages of love covered the area. People who had never met Kada came to pay their respects because her story had touched so many across Philadelphia and beyond. City Council member Cindy Bass sent a letter to the school district asking them to demolish the abandoned Ada Lewis Middle School building. She called it a dangerous place that had become the site of tragedy. The previous case involving Cece was also back in the spotlight. The charges against Keon from January that got dismissed were now being refiled. The investigation continued, and as more details emerged, another person started getting attention. Kada's boyfriend Tez, whose real name is Ramir. According to Ramir, the last time he spoke to Kada was right before she went missing. Just casual conversation. Nothing suspicious. But the timeline also raises questions. Kada and Ramir reportedly went to Topgolf on the evening of October 4th, and spent some time together. Then around 9:40 p.m. he dropped her off at home. But according to some other accounts, Ramir allegedly said he was driving home from work, going to a gas station to get something, when he saw Kada walking her dog near a baseball park in her neighborhood. Then he stopped his car in the middle of an intersection, got out of his vehicle and approached her. But the gas station Ramir mentioned was allegedly one connected to Keon. So did Ramir and Keon already know each other? Because if they did, that would change everything. What if Cece had testified and those initial charges against Keon hadn't been dropped? What if Gabby had refused to give information about where Kada lived? What if Dee hadn't documented Kada's routine? If just one person had made a different choice and any of those things had happened differently, would Kada Scott still be alive today? Her family is left with questions and the community is demanding answers. Investigators are working to piece together exactly how many people were involved and what role each of them played. Remember, danger can wear a friendly face. Stay aware, look out for others, and reach out if you need help. See you in the next case on Deranged Women. Thanks for watching.
All right. That's all right. Good?
Okay. Oh, I'm very in here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's you want to stand on this, like
What?
on the pillar?
I'll just go.
All right.
You want us over here in front of the pillar?
Yeah, just so I think they can capture that.
Actually, we're going
Okay, looks like we're still setting up just a little bit, getting the photographers in the room, the microphone situated. Again, this is a news conference about Kada Scott, the 23-year-old from Philadelphia. She's been missing for about 2 weeks now. Disappeared on October 4th. Scott's family last saw her the night that she left for an overnight shift at her job at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill. That's a nursing home on East Abington Avenue. Just yesterday, law enforcement sources confirmed that police identified a man who they wanted to talk to in connection to the case. Let's listen in.
On the disappearance of Kada Scott, which occurred on October 4th, 11 days ago. Going to provide you an update in terms of an individual that is currently in custody for his involvement in the disappearance of Miss Scott. However, still a lot of work needs to be done. And so I just want to make that very clear as to why we are here and the information that you will receive. Essentially letting you know how we have gotten here, but more so the public's help that we need right now. The public has been very very helpful thus far in providing a lot of information, which the investigators have been able to track down a lot of the leads, which has helped us get to this point here. But as I said, a lot of work still to be done. The number one priority is locating Ms. Scott. I just want to make that very clear. And so while we are at this stage of this now, that's our priority. And so we will ask for your help in locating this vehicle, which you'll get a little more information. It's a 1999 metallic gold Toyota Camry with a Pennsylvania tag of MSX0797. But we need to know where this car is. We need to find this car. Making this very clear, it's not to just focus on the northwest section of the city of Philadelphia. This car has traversed through the entire city. And so I want that to be clear, that every neighborhood, every person listening to this, whether you're in North Philly, South Philly, Southwest, Northwest, please open your eyes and see if you locate this car, or if you have seen this car, please contact us and give us that information. The second part of this is the individual that Deputy Commissioner Venor will provide his information very shortly. Want folks to understand this person has a little bit of a pattern of this type of history. And so we want to encourage anyone that may have been involved with this individual, anyone that may know this individual, please, at this point in time, make that phone call. Feel comfortable enough to call us and let us know if you have any information regarding this person, regarding any interaction you've had with this individual. If you have been a victim of any crime regarding this individual, I want you to understand now is the time to make that phone call and let us know. Give us that information so that we can continue on. Again, just want to make it very clear that a lot of work has been done, starting off with Northwest Detective Division, and then this case shifting over to homicide, making it very clear that the case was shifted to homicide because we have the most experienced investigators in our homicide unit. They have the most experience dealing with all types of investigations. They also have the most resources available to them. And so we have the hopes that we are still treating this as if Ms. Scott is still alive. And that's why we want the public's help in trying to locate every single piece of this. But I just wanted to make that clear because I know there's been some reports once it shifted over to homicide, folks not understanding the why. And so that's the reason behind that. At this point in time, again, appreciate the help that we've gotten. I want to turn everything over to Deputy Venor to go into more details about the individual that has been taken into custody and some other pertinent facts of the investigation.
All right, good morning. Just to reiterate what the Commissioner Stanford said, we've been investigating this since Saturday, October 4th in the evening, the last time Kada Scott was seen at her place of work up in Mount Airy area. Our evidence that we followed, and we did involve a lot of investigators on this, led us to several places, that digital evidence, and as everybody knows, we searched a very large area up in the Awbury Arboretum, and we came up really with negative results. After that time, we asked the Homicide Division, the FBI Violent Crime Task Force to enter into the investigation, and we continued our search trying to Ms. Scott along with anybody she may have encountered during that time. Our evidence that she was in communication with an individual
News conference
to meet her very shortly after she leaves her. She disappears off of the footprint. We have a lot of digital evidence, video and other, which provide an individual by the name of Keon, K-E-O-N, King, K-I-N-G. Through our evidence, we were able to charge this individual. The district attorney was able to charge the individual. You'll hear from them shortly with kidnapping at this point. It's very important to know we're not done our investigation. Ms. Scott, figure out where she is or what may have happened to her to cause her to completely disappear from all her items, her phone, her Instagram, social media sites, and everywhere else, work. She left her car at that location. So it's very important that this individual, who does have prior history of being arrested, especially for this very same thing, this year was charged with kidnapping another female acquaintance. That case was dismissed from court, and I'll explain it. It's going to be refiled now as we're going to move forward to attempt. So he's being really charged with 2 cases today of kidnapping, and that case it involved kidnapping. So this is a pattern of behavior. That vehicle that you've seen, the Toyota Camry, was his vehicle. All right, that vehicle's not recovered. All right, some of the stuff he did as we attempted to find him was he got rid of things like the car, the phone. We're not able to find things that he was using. He had an address in Southwest Philadelphia. He had other addresses that it looks like he's not using anymore. So he attempted to elude us for some time. He did come in last night. He's here being processed, but there's a lot of questions we still have. So we're asking the public's help. We need it more than ever. This car, you'll see a better picture of it. We sent it to you digitally. It's a gold colored Camry, 1999. It has heavy front end damage on the left front bumper. All right, that's being described that way several times. We know it's been in the Mount Airy area. We have photos of it in Center City. We have pictures of it in Grace Ferry area and in Southwest Philadelphia. So it's possible that it could be anywhere. It could be outside the city. So if somebody sees this, thinks they know where this car is, it's very possible it doesn't have this tag on it anymore. So if you see a car like it, we're urging you to call police, have it investigated. Any information on this, you can call our tip line, 215-686-TIPS, 8477, or the Homicide Division directly, and give that information. All right, I'm going to turn things over to ADA Teslowski, who could speak a little more about the charges and potentially other charges that he's facing.
Thank you. My name is Ashley Teslowski. I am an assistant district attorney in the homicide unit. I became involved in this investigation last week when the investigation was turned over to the homicide unit. So I became the assigned ADA when detectives Rob Daly and Joe Kremen took over the case. The first thing I want to say is that PPD and our federal partners and Detective Daly and Detective Kremen have done an amazing job to get us where we are. Today I'm joined by Tracy Washington from our Victim Services Unit and also Bob Listenby, the first assistant of our office. What I can confirm is that our office, as of the early morning hours into the early morning hours this morning, did charge this individual with charges, the lead charge being kidnapping. You know, as we've said multiple times at this point, we do not know where Ms. Scott is. So at this point, our lead charge is kidnapping. What we're able to confirm and what I was able to charge based on is what we know, which has already been said, which is that this person, Mr. King, is the last person we believe to be in contact with her, and that he was in contact with her when she went offline, meaning her phone, everything. So at this point, the investigation has led us here, and we're able to charge him with kidnapping, recklessly endangering another person, use of a communication facility, meaning his phone. We were able to track his phone and communications on his phone. He's being processed as we speak. When I picked up this investigation, one of the things that our office also learned was that he did have a previous case. It was a 2025 case for very similar conduct, strangulation and kidnapping. That case had been withdrawn by our office based on the witness failing to appear at court. I pulled that file, and after an extensive review of it, our office made the decision to refile those charges. We believe there is enough to proceed, and we also do believe that this is a pattern for this person. That refile was filed yesterday. He was served on that as a part of our conversation with him. Him being here and being processed on the new charges, he was served for that, so he will also be facing a preliminary hearing on that previous kidnapping case as well. So at this point, he will have 2 open kidnapping cases that will face preliminary hearings in the coming months.
I don't know if there's any questions.
For the district attorney's office, how many times, Scott, does a defendant, does the case appear before a judge that it's then withdrawn? I mean, how many times does this matter come before a judge and the decision then gets made as withdrawn?
It depends. In this specific case, what I could tell you is that after the first listing, when the victim failed to appear, the case was marked what I'll call must be tried, which is a little bit of a court lingo, but basically saying if it's not tried by the next listing, it'll either be dismissed or withdrawn. It was marked that way after the first listing when she didn't appear in court, and then at the second listing, when again we didn't have the witness or the victim in court, it was at that point withdrawn given the previous marking.
Do you have his date of birth?
I do not, but I'm sure we can get that.
Yeah, I'll get it.
The video that was seen of the vehicle in the area of the Arboretum, do we believe that's the vehicle that?
So this vehicle has been traveling all over the city. So we do believe this video is involved in what we're talking about, and we have it all over the city in concert with how he's moving as well. Yep, we have the date of birth for you. It is 5/6/2004. So 5/6/2004.
Do you guys know how the two knew each other, how long it had been, and is this the specific individual that Kada had expressed concern about, specifically harassment?
I'm not willing to comment on that at this time. That's still very much being investigated in terms of their relationship and how long they knew each other.
So the significance of the car right now, the urgency, if you will, can you address why you believe people need to find this car?
Sure, I can certainly comment on that, or if you want to. I mean, at this point, we believe he is connected to this vehicle. We also believe she may have been in that vehicle.
As far as the other case, the kidnapping case,
Yes.
can you just explain some of the circumstances surrounding that case, as brief as you need?
Sure. That case is an individual that was known to him, a domestic in nature, and what I can say is the allegations in that case are that he kidnapped a woman in front of her house, threw her in her car, assaulted her, and then eventually let her out of the car. There is some video evidence, I believe, that'll be played at the preliminary hearing, but that was domestic in nature.
And do you have a time or about when that happened?
It was this year in 2025. The case was withdrawn in May, so it predates that by a little bit.
Where was the last location this car was seen?
I don't know if we have exactly the last location, but what I can say is through our investigation, it was tracked all over the city, in multiple areas of the city in multiple different time periods throughout, the entire length of this investigation.
When police were at an address in Southwest Philadelphia last Thursday night, was that one of his addresses?
It was one of the addresses connected to this investigation.
Do you believe anyone else might be helping King or possibly be driving that vehicle for him?
In terms of other people being involved, I don't have comment on that at this time. It's still very much being investigated. There have been several phone numbers involved that we've been tracking, but all roads at this point lead to him, and so that's what we're hoping leads us to her.
After she arrives at work at 10 o'clock, how big is the time window that she actually remains at work before leaving?
Yeah.
She's not there long at all. She gets there maybe just before 10, and right after she's out, maybe 20 minutes. That's what I'm told.
Are they communicating at this point?
We believe they are, yeah.
Do you know how the two knew each other?
I don't know their relationship. Obviously, they had a connection. They're going back and forth, and they've known each other for a short time, but I don't know how long.
Do you know if she was willingly meeting him, or?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
We're going to take a couple more questions as we get this information out there. Two more questions.
I just wanted to see, is he saying anything? Is he being interviewed?
I'm not going to comment on that at this point.
Next question.
All right, good.
Thank you very much.